The question is yours. If you had been the traveler, what would you decide? Anybody could answer. Anyone who is interested can interact. And I'm sure everybody is.
She is a Rashtrapati awardee in scouting and guiding. She was awarded the Best Outgoing Student during 2003 to 6 from Karpaya Arts and Science College and Best Faculty Award in 2010 from Nehru Art and Science College, Coimbatore. She has numerous publications in national and international journals, having organized and presented in national and international seminars. She has been a board of studies members at Periyar University. She has served as an assistant professor in the Department of Biotechnology, Nehru Arts and Science College, Coimbatore, and Vaidehi Institute of Medical Science, Bangalore. Presently, she is a secondary school teacher at New Horizons School, Bangalore. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Rohit, thank you, Rohit. Thank you for the great introduction, man. Thank you. Good job. Right. So, children, I think I can address you as children because howsoever you stretch and pull, you are, say, 10, 15 years, I am elder to you. Jiffy ma'am, I am not able to see the children. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Right. Jiffy ma'am, if you don't mind, if you can please occupy the other chair, I would be able to see the children better. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Right. So let me start, children. Very good afternoon, faculty members of SCMS College and my dear children. As introduced, I'm Lekha Nair and I'm here to address you today. So let me, as always, let me start with my gratitude note. Today, 2:30 p.m. or 2:40 p.m. to be more exact, December 18th, 2021, I never dreamt that I would get an opportunity to meet such young minds. Right? So for that, let me thank Almighty for the opportunity and all the organizers of SCMS College, Srija ma'am who approached me, who invited me, and Jiffy ma'am for inviting me. Thank you, ma'am. And my bond with this your college, I think still children are joining. Yes. My bond with SCMS College is stronger. And you know why? Any guess? Though I have not stepped into your campus, I have not seen anybody, but I individually know everybody. How is it possible? Any guess? Yes. The positive vibe that connects me to you is my sister, Dr. Lata. So I don't find any appropriate word to thank a sister, isn't it? So, but on an official note, thank you, Dr. Lata, for the great opportunity that you have given me today. So let me start with it, children. Hope people have settled. Yes. Thank you so much. So let me first clarify the intention of my talk. Okay? Right? You can show a thumbs up, show some response so that I will get motivated to talk. Yes? End of the day, it is a conversation. It is not a talk. It is not a speech. I underline the word. We are going to converse. I want you to interact. I want you to involve. It's just a discussion. I am not right or you are wrong. Nothing here. We are just into a discussion here. Yes? So my topic today is confusions to conclusions. Right. So, and let me clarify the intention of my talk first. As I told you, let me start with my life experience. I started my career as a lecturer and the organization where I was associated with had a nature club. So we decided that some activity has to be done in the nature club and I had to address children of your age group. So first years, second years, all very energetic, bubbly children full of enthusiasm. And we decided to make seed balls. Hope you all know what seed balls are. Mix soil, organic manure, keep it ready, buy seeds from Agricultural University, very fertile seeds we buy, and then we cover it with the soil that we have mixed, and we made seed balls. Now the next question was, what to be done with these seed balls? Should we sow it in our college campus or should we take it home? We came to a conclusion that we will carry these seed balls, and on the way back home, in an appropriate place which I feel that the seed will germinate, I can throw. So I distributed the seed balls to my children. And then one among you got up and he asked me, "Ma'am, how certain are you that these seeds will germinate?" I had no answers, but I said, Mother Nature and Father Time will take care, but we will throw the seeds. And that is my intention here. I'm here with my life stories. I'm here with the stories that I have read. I'm here with the decisions that I have made in my life and which helped me clear the confusions in my life and come to a conclusion. So those story balls I'm going to throw on you, and I'm sure, or I even do not know whether these seeds will germinate. It might germinate today, tomorrow, years after, or it may not germinate as well. But if at all it germinates, if at all it becomes a plant, if at all it survives it to be a tree, that tree will not only be helpful for everyone, but also it will help transform lives. And that is my intention of the talk today. Getting back to the topic, confusions to conclusions. So Rohit read my introduction. My profile itself is confusing. I have multiple degrees. I have my master's in MSc Biotechnology. I have my master's in English Literature. I have done my diploma in Educational Administration and Supervision. I have done my diploma in Bioinformatics. And finally, I have reaching to the level of a doctorate in biotechnology. You might wonder what made this lady do multiple things together. You people are good decision makers, I will tell you. Because on a Saturday, 2:30 p.m., when others would prefer an outing, when others would prefer some kind of enjoyment or an entertainment, you decided to stay back and listen to me. So you are great decision makers. But I was not a great decision maker. I was full of confusions when I was of your age group. Only thing that I was certain about was I will achieve something in my life. I wanted to be a good human being. I wanted to serve my society where I was. Only that I had in my mind, and with that intention, with the heat of hope, I started doing multiple things together. As any other child, as I told you, I was a very systematic child, one among you. Once I finished my 10th grade, I had a good score. So with the social stigma that a good scorer should always be an engineer or a doctor. With that stupid stigma in my mind, I should not use the word stupid, but that stigma in my mind, I also opted to become a doctor and I chose Biomaths. Biomaths finished, plus 2 is over, but then I could not make up to the entrance. I did not become a doctor. I could not reach to that level. But then I could reach up to a veterinary science, but I had no confusion in my decision in opting not to take up veterinary science because I was scared of cats and dogs. Then what? What next was the confusion in me. I opted for a basic BSc degree, BSc in biochemistry. Once I started learning, I understood that I had more potential. I understood that I had more time to be spent usefully without allowing my brain to get attracted towards distractions. Though the distractions what you face today, I need not face because I had no other distraction other than a television. Now you have gadgets, now you have mobiles, now you have what not. Though I didn't have all those distractions, but still I felt that I should not get distracted and I had to choose another one more degree simultaneously along with my basic BSc Biochemistry. So the choice was BA English. I continued. And same thing continued with my post-graduation also. Twinning, 2 degrees at a time, 2 diplomas at a time, everything together. With all those confusions, let me stop my story there. This point of time when I had multiple degrees and didn't know what to do, one, as a science student, one thing came to my mind. What is the science behind my decisions? Why do I take such decisions? I wanted to know about it. For a science student, it's very easy. Just go, take the chapter brain, understand. Yes, I did understand that the brain takes decisions on limbic system depending upon two systems in the brain, one limbic system and prefrontal cortex. Limbic system is all quick decisions. You take decisions randomly. You would have seen people taking random decisions, fatafat, without even thinking. Or we call it as flight or fight mode. For example, if you see a snake, there are two options in you. Either take a stick and kill it, or run away from the place. That is by limbic system of the brain. There is one more system called prefrontal cortex in the brain. And you know what? It helps in rational decisions. Great decisions are taken by this prefrontal cortex. And the research says that this prefrontal cortex is not developed until we reach an age of 25 years. And that is the reason why we are very weak in taking decisions, say from the age group of 13 to 25. We are so confused. The distractions attract us rather than the good things. And there comes our confusions, which to choose, whether a cigarette offered by a friend, or a movie offered by a friend, or a classroom, right? Or whether a yoga class or a cigarette. There comes the confusion. And children, trust me, it's not your mistake. It's the mistake of my brain, the mistake of your brain, the prefrontal cortex of the brain, which is still developing and it has not developed. We'll put the blame on the brain. I also did the same. Yes, my brain is not getting matured. Prefrontal cortex is still working. But then I wanted to know, but does it not work at all? Yes, it does work. Prefrontal cortex can also be used. But then it needs extra time. I'll give you an example. Somebody can read a lesson in say 1 hour or half an hour. Some of me, like me, a child like me, needs 2 to 3 hours. I read it again, I read it again, I read it again, and then only I can reproduce. Right? So similarly, the prefrontal cortex also needs extra time. It has to work harder to take good decisions. So give that prefrontal cortex extra time was the learning that I had. I told you I'm not here to give you any advice. I'm not here to give you any tips. Just the sharing, the lessons that I have learned in my life. I know this age group, if I tell you follow this, do that, you will not like it. The hormonal changes in your system are so confusing that you will not be able to understand your physiology by yourself. And the social orientation, the changes in the social orientation that you are going through cannot be explained. And that is the reason why peers attract you and parents repel you. Right? You don't like to go with your problems to your parent or your teacher or any adult for that matter. Rather, you would like to approach your friend. And unfortunately, the friend's prefrontal cortex is also developing. And what happens is, even the other child is also confused, and both confusions together, we end up taking a decision which becomes a bigger confusion in our lives. So to add to this, I'll just give you a story which I read it elsewhere. A man, a traveler, who is traveling for a long time, he loses his way in a desert. And he is exhausted with all the water that he had carried for a couple of days. All tired, he is for sure that if he didn't get any water anymore, certainly he will die. But then he did not give up his hope. He continues to find a ray of hope. And suddenly he sees a hut nearby at a distance. Initially he thinks that it would be a hallucination. But then with no other option left, he edges closer towards the hut. As he reaches the hut, he understands that it is a reality, it is a hut, and he feels that the hut has been abandoned for years. What he does is, gathering all the energy that he has in him, he gets into the hut to check if he could get some water. For the joy of his life, he finds a hand pump. He decides to work upon the hand pump, but in vain. He continuously tries working with the hand pump, but then he doesn't get a drop of water. with all the energy he does, and then he loses his hope and he sits exhausted, frustrated in the corner of the hut. Again, the second row of hope comes to him. He sees a water bottle in another corner of the hut. He goes near the hut. He goes to the bottle. He sees that it is corked to avoid evaporation of the water. He removes the cork and is about to drink the water. He finds a handwritten note attached to the bottle. He wants to read what it is before he could drink the water. The handwritten note says, please follow the instructions. Use the water in the bottle to work the hand pump and get enough water. Drink the water, fill the bottle again and replace it. Now he is confused. He can do two things. He has two things in front of him. One choice is he can either drink the water, quench his thirst, or otherwise he can use the water, follow the instructions, pour it in the hand pump, work the hand pump and check if he would get some water. So the risk behind it is, the second choice is, what if he uses all the water to work the water pump, and if he doesn't get even a drop of water, then that would be the last drop of water he would see in his life. He was sure he will die if he doesn't get water anymore. Now the question is yours. If you had been the traveler, what would you decide? Anybody could answer. Anyone who is interested can interact, and I'm sure everybody is interested. And those front benches, I'm not able to see the video properly, but I can find that your hands are on your face. If it is not troubling you, you can put it down. Nothing has gone wrong. We are all happy here. Anybody who would like to imagine yourself as a traveler and give me, what would you decide? What would you decide, children, if you had been the traveler? Will you take the first choice or the second choice? No reply? Anybody who would? I can hear some chorus noise, but not individual choice. No individual choices. I think then I should continue. Right. So your choice is to not to answer, I think. Right. So now let me continue, children. Yes. So here in this case, the man decides to take the second choice. He uses the water bottle. He uses the water to pour into the water pump. He pumps water and he gets enough and more water to drink, fill the bottle, and then fill the bottle which he had carried for his journey, and the bottle which and follow the instruction and fill the bottle again. But while leaving the hut, he writes in the handwritten note, he adds on to his point that believe me, it works. He adds on, believe me, it works. So are the choices in life. If you take a decision and if the decision is in favor of you, then you can inspire others by telling or narrating that your success stories, or you can inspire others with your positive words and tell them that believe me, it works. What if the choices made are gone wrong? If the choices what you have taken in your life are not on your way, if they are not your real choices, or if the decisions fail, in that case, again, you can still help others by sharing your expertise, by sharing your realizations, and by sharing how they should take right decisions. When you decided not to interact with me, might be for you that is the right decision for now. But later on, if you would like to share your stories with others, you should think whether your decisions are right or wrong. Again, we do make mistakes, and that is why and always a pencil has an eraser attached. Whenever we make mistakes, the life gives us chances to erase our mistakes. Right? It is quite natural to make mistakes. Mistakes are natural. But to accept that I have made a mistake shows our culture. Again, I repeat, to accept our mistakes shows our culture. Right? To make mistakes is our nature. To accept our mistakes shows our culture. And when you accept your mistakes, when you owe your responsibility for your decisions, then your progress is on the way if you start correcting your mistakes. And some of the mistakes or some of the decisions that we make in our lives might be a mistake which are irreparable, right? You cannot mend them. In that case, you have to be sure enough that I will face those challenges, I will face the consequences that are behind it. Coming back to my story, again, I finished my MSc post graduation, got into a job. Again, when I went for my MSc for project IIHR, my father had high hopes that my child will become a scientist. Yes, I worked hard. I could achieve it. My guide offered me an SRF, Senior Research Fellowship, with which I could have reached becoming a scientist. But then the realization came there that no, that is not my cup of tea. I wanted to be something else. I wanted to be a teacher. I decided to be a teacher and I spoke to my father about it. He listed me all the pros and cons of becoming a scientist and becoming a teacher, and he said, the choice is yours, the decision is yours, it's your life. I knew there were many positives towards the other end, scientist, but then I chose to be a teacher. They still confused if my decisions were correct. Then comes the next stage of our life. Yes, if you are a girl, if you are 20, 21 years old, it's the parents' responsibility to get you married. But then I had a self-realization there that my prefrontal cortex is not well developed, so I have to be dependent on my parents for the choice. They made the right choice for me, and I have the right man with me as my husband. Things were fine, still confusions remained in my life. Days passed by. Now then, the next challenge in anybody's life, if you are a female, it is a motherhood. Would you become a super perfect mother, or would you like to work? The society wants to know, right? Again, the confusion arose in my life. Should I work or should I stay at home and take care of my child? The family demanded the second option, stay at home, take care of the child. No, my decision was opposite. I wanted to work. I found a place where I could carry my child along with me. I will work, come in during the breaks, I'll breastfeed him, go back, work again. Things were fine. Still confusions remained because whenever my child falls sick, I would wonder if my decisions were correct. I was an average mom, but a good teacher. Again, the second challenge came in the form of my second son. What next? Should I continue? Should I be a perfect mother or should I be a teacher? My option was do both. I have always been a person doing multiple things, so I said both. Be an average mother, be a good teacher. Enough. I carried both my children together. Now the necessity demanded, I left my college, I shifted my career to a school so that I can carry both of them together in my hand. The story that changed my life, the day I decided that my confusions are all ruled out and I came to a conclusion that my decisions were correct, was an episode wherein I had to drop my children to school. Both of them were into school now. I dropped them with a hope that they will turn back and say bye to me, or if they will cry, my younger one might cry, but no. To my surprise, both my children were very happy walking into the school for the first day on the first day of the school without any worries in their mind, and they were good individuals of their own. They had their choices, and that day I decided that my confusions are all ruled out and I have my conclusion. My decisions are correct. That is my message for you. The day you decide to take decisions, the day you feel that this would be better for me, you prioritize yourself and then take the decisions. Those decisions, whatever be the consequence, owe it. Whatever be the challenges in front of those decisions, owe it. Take it up as a challenge and go ahead. Sometimes the society will curse you, or the people behind you, or the turmoils around you will pressurize you to make you feel that your decisions were wrong. But no, empower yourself to face the challenges and move ahead. That is my message for you today. Children, whenever you are taking any decisions for that matter, in the zeal of youth, you always feel to take quick decisions in life. The zeal of youth always pressurizes us to take risks. And as somebody says, taking risk in this particular age group is like eating a rusk. I don't know, and I feel, yes, it is true. Because this is the age group when we find many people riding rashly, taking random decisions, getting into relationships which are inappropriate, getting into behaviors which are inappropriate, getting into behavioral issues, and there would be none among us who would have made a mistake of shouting at our parents for no reason, shouting at our teachers for no reason, misunderstanding your friends for no reason, right? Deciding or opting to take a choice which is not appropriate for you at all, in spite of many people advising you. Yes, it's all part of it. But then, when you are taking decisions, when you are coming to conclusions, understand that your brain is still under construction. Until 25 years of age, your brain is still under construction. So give an extra time. Stop, think, look back, listen for the advices, take your guidance, and then only take decisions. Because, as I mentioned earlier, your prefrontal cortex is still developing. It needs more time than others. It needs more time than your father. You need more time than your mother. You need more time than your teachers to take decisions. So don't jump into conclusions. This is what I want to be. No. Your decisions might keep changing. You need not panic. Let it change. Finally, it will take its shape. Finally, it will take its shapes, provided we understand, we reassure ourselves that yes, this decision of mine will have this consequence and I am ready to take it up. So with that clarity, you have to proceed. Again, when we take decisions, we want to become successful in a day. We don't want to wait. We've never enjoyed delayed gratification. When I use the word delayed gratification, you might wonder what it is. Just wait for the result. But we never do that. We want it to happen today itself. I start a YouTube channel today and tomorrow I should be 1 million subscribers should follow me. No, that is not possible. So you should enjoy the delayed gratification. You have to wait for the results to come, and during that delay, during that waiting process, don't change your decisions. You have people, as Abdul Kalam said, you have great dreams. Dream yourself, dream big, dream big. They keep telling us. And what I understand from what they said is, it is not that we have to dream beyond what we could achieve, but whatever we want to achieve, that you dream it big. I don't mean to say that if I don't know to swim and I just imagine or just dream to become a great swimmer, that is not the dream that Abdul Kalam meant. What he meant was, whatever you feel that you can achieve in yourself, on that you dream big. And on that decision, hold on until you achieve. Face the challenges. Yes, it is not an easy joke. You have to wait. You will be insulted. You would be scrutinized. You have to undergo that refinement. You have to wait. Hold on to the decisions. That is more important. And there would be ample confusions around you when you decide to become something in your life. And all those decisions, all those confusions will come together simultaneously. And there would be people around you who would say both in one single sentence. Yes, you should be a working woman, but then your child will miss you. Such sentences you would have heard. Your mother hearing it or your teachers listening to that. That is all there. Dual versions will come, but take what decisions are apt for you and what is meant for you. Recently, a Punjabi girl won the title, and her question was, what is your advice to the children or to the present generation who are under pressure. You would have heard her talk. She said, believe in yourself. Yes, that is the right message for the day. Believe in yourself. Believe in your decisions. When you start believing in your decisions, you start dreaming about your decisions. Once you start dreaming about your decisions, you have your vision board very clear. And once you create a vision board with clarity, with passion, with love, and with all positive values, 100% you can be determined that your decision will not have any bad consequence. Instead, if your decisions are instant, if you are going to make quick decisions, if you are going to make random decisions, if you are going to make decisions which are momentarily attractive, I repeat the word momentarily, only that period of time you will enjoy it. Please don't go with such decisions. It will not help you on a long run. Again, I repeat, decisions are all yours. You have the individuality to take your own decisions. You are unique in your own way. You can come up with your decisions. But then, again, I repeat, understand that your brain is still under constructions. Be ready to face the consequences. Self-analyze yourself and rectify your mistakes and proceed. I know you will not have any doubts as of now, because you were not ready to interact with me. If at all, if you have any, you can feel free to ask me or talk to me. Because I feel I'm talking for long. If you would like to interact, if you would like to talk something, or if you want to ask me something, you can. Yes. Okay. Fine, then let me continue. Children, tell me this. The boys that who are sitting together. Boys, may I have your attention? Thank you so much. Okay, right. Children, if I ask, do you all carry mobiles to school, to college? Do you all carry mobiles? You are allowed? Not allowed? Very good. Okay, okay. Suppose, okay, I'll just give you a random situation and you have to tell me what your decision is. Right? I leave your mobiles in front of you. Yes, the challenges. These days we have challenges for everything. Sari challenge, Dalgona challenge, selfie challenge, all possible challenges in life, isn't it? So let me give you another challenge. I leave your mobiles in front of you, say for half an hour. Okay, it's too long. Okay, 20 minutes. Right? I leave your mobiles, your brand new mobiles or whatever mobiles you are using. I leave it in front of you for 20 minutes and I say, it's your decision. If you would choose to touch the mobile within this 20 minutes, you are out of the game. And if you are not allowed, if you do not touch it, you win the game. Which one would you choose? 20 minutes. It's only 20 minutes. What would you choose? Will you touch the mobile, use the mobile, or you should not even touch it? What will you choose? I want answer from boys who are discussing to come to a conclusion, I think. What would you decide, children? You prefer mobiles or the reward? Mobiles. What would you do? Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Okay, is there at least one person in the group who would decide that no ma'am, I will not touch the mobile at all, no matter what happens? At least one? Good. There are few hands. Very nice. Okay. If I say that instead of 20 minutes, I extend the time to half an hour, still will you continue with your decision? 20 minutes extended to 30 minutes, will you continue with your decision? Yes? Good. Okay. 30 minutes, I'll extend it to 1 hour. Will you continue with your decision? Very good. If all are saying yes, that means I should say that all are great decision makers. And trust me, children, And trust me, I repeat, if you decide not to touch your mobile, and then you are history creators, you create history, and those who decide to touch it and those who are fragile enough to change their decisions are history readers. So it's your choice whether you want to create history or sit and learn history. It's as simple as that. If you want to create history, then you should be determined. If you want to create success in your life, then you should be determined. You should give up on certain things which you should not have it in your life. Let it be a smoking habit, let it be a drinking habit, let it be anything for that matter, which is not appropriate for you. You should be ready to give up, and then all the decisions that you take are appropriate in your life, and the success is all yours. Yes, and this is not a study which I have told you from randomly from my end. It's a study done by Stanford University, where they brought students of your age group, say around 16-20 children in one batch. They locked them up in a room. They kept all possible gadgets, a tablet, a graphic tablet, and all possible things. They arranged it, a PlayStation, everything. And they said, your time starts now. Half an hour if you can control your senses. Half an hour if you decide not to touch any of these gadgets. And if you win, then there is some great reward offered by the university. There were 20 in a batch, and then only 3 students could survive the challenge. 3 students achieved that they did not touch any of the Play Store, and they kept up their decisions. And trust me, when they analyzed their brain activity, their IQ, their EQ was far ahead, was much stronger than those who gave up. So I don't want our future generation to be losers who easily give up things. Let's challenge ourselves and take great decisions in our life which will help us become great individuals, and that would be my message for you today. Yes, any other thing? Actually, I had planned it that 40 minutes I would talk, and 20 minutes or 10 minutes at least children will ask me doubts, and that is how usually the session goes. So the floor is open for discussion. If you have anything to ask me, you can go ahead. Then shall I continue? Yes. Okay, thank you then. Children, as we are confused, here please, thank you so much. Right. So let me end up with a final last story, and then I'm not going to take much of your time. Since you were very hesitant to talk to me, then I thought I will share this story and wind up. As always, we people keep complaining that we don't get opportunities, isn't it? We keep saying that we don't get ample opportunities. If I had got this, I would have become this. If I would have done this, I would have become a better individual, right? We keep complaining about ourselves. Right now, I even complain that my prefrontal cortex are not fully developed, so are my decisions so bad. So likewise, we enjoy blaming others. We always like to point fingers on others. Similarly, there was a farmer who decided to blame God for his bad crops. He said that this God doesn't know anything. If I had been the God, I would have given the right atmosphere, right temperature, right rain, right amount of water, right soil, and then my crops would have been green. The whole earth would have been green. Hearing these complaints on an everyday basis, the God decides to give the power to the farmer. The farmer is invited by the God, and he says, yes, okay, come on. I'll make you the God for today. Work upon it, and then for a year, whatever you do in your 1 acre of land, whatever you want, the appropriate light, appropriate wind, appropriate water, appropriate fertilizer, whatever you would like to have, that would be provided. Go ahead. And if you win, then you will be the God and I will quit the job. The farmer accepts the challenge. Whenever he wanted, there is rain. Whenever he wanted, there was sun. Whatever fertilizer, whatever amount of fertilizers he wanted, the fertility his soil wanted, he had. Everything was appropriate. And finally, the day came when he had to reap his harvest. When he was about to do that, he realized that there was only husk and there was no rice inside. He went to the God complaining that you are a cheater. You gave me everything, but still the seed doesn't have, the seeds are not formed. They are deformed seeds, and I cannot continue my production anymore. The God replies, I gave you the right amount of water. I gave you the right amount of sunlight. I gave you the right amount of whatever you demanded. And still, if the seeds are not formed properly, that is not my mistake. Same is my message for you, children. You are blessed. You are into a very good college, very good institution. Your parents are giving you all possible opportunities. The department is giving you all possible facilities. They are putting in effort to bring expertise from different walks of life on an every month basis, which is not an easy task. Every possible blessings are given to you, but then it's you who has to accept the challenge and become good individual. I feel that the opportunities that you have got, many children would not get. I happened to visit an orphanage along with my children at school, and I just wished those children, and I was about to start with my lecture. I just, on a formality basis, I asked, did you all eat? The children nodded their head, and unlike this crowd, they were very excited. They said yes, and they asked me in return, ma'am, did you have? I said yes, and the question was, ma'am, what did you even have? And then I said, I had chapatis, and you know what the reply was? Children told me, chapati, with a great exclamation on their face. They happened to get chapatis only on the birthday of the owner of that orphanage, the trustee of the orphanage. Such children also do exist. There are children who are dropped out because of the COVID reasons, and we are still blessed. Please maintain a gratitude notebook and write your blessings, and start utilizing all the opportunities that come in front of you. Then you see your decisions will all be perfect. But if you lose your opportunities and you think that it's all luck, we remain as mere fools. And I don't want a fool society to be molded. Please utilize the opportunities that come before you. If you get an opportunity to talk, talk. If you get an opportunity to write, please do write. If you get an opportunity to work, please do give your suggestions. If you don't do that, if you fail to do that, then we are becoming losers in life. And that is where we lack our confidence, we stop believing in ourselves, and that is where our decisions go wrong. Hope my session helped you understand at least a glimpse of how to come to conclusions in your life and avoid confusions. Thank you for the opportunity. All the best for all the children out there, and thanks for your patient listening on a Saturday 2:30 p.m. I do understand you are all excited to go back home for a weekend blast. So Happy New Year in advance. Enjoy your college life, but please do understand that responsibilities are also yours. You owe yourself. You are responsible for your decisions. You are your own leader. You are your own decision makers. And whatever decisions you make in your life, the consequences, it is you who have to face. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Good afternoon to one and all. I, Alia Kali, of First Become Seed, am obliged to deliver the vote of thanks for this occasion of the invited lecture series, namely Confusion to Conclusion. First of all, I would like to thank our resource person, Ms. Lekha K. Nair, for her valuable time and presence to grace this occasion. Ma'am, your words are definitely going to guide us in the future. Thank you so much, ma'am. I would like to thank our Churi, Mrs. Sarsha Anand, for her valuable time and presence to grace this occasion. Your presence had made this occasion a complete success. Thank you so much, ma'am. Next, I would like to thank Mrs. Jeffrey Felix, coordinator of the invited lecture series, for giving me the opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all the teachers and students whose valuable presence had made this occasion a grand success. Thank you all. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, children. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I think I'm on time.
Yeah, really.
Fine.
Thank you so much.
Yes.